following broadcast contains strong opinions, playful antics, and controversial topics causing off-the-rails fun. Chances for being offended are higher than average for sensitive people. Viewer discretion is not advised. Live a little and have some fun.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Coach's Box. Fellas, how are we doing this evening?
Doing good. I'm trying to figure out where all these buttons I need to push are.
Jarvis is like, are we on? Are we live? Jarvis, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, it's basketball. It's basketball season. I'm not doing two sports anymore, even though it would have been cool if I was, but I'm not. And yeah, I'm just busy as all get out.
Going from one sport to the other. So you've got what, springtime? about all you got?
Come about, end of February, beginning of March. I'm ready for a day off.
Definitely. Well, guys, this is the Inmates Running the Asylum episode. As you can see, our we'll call him our fearless leader, Coach Chris Miller, is not with us. And I know, I see that.
Really? Oh, hey, I bet you guys can guess where he's at. He's going to be in the woods.
Hey, and then, hey, is Jim is Jim with us? I can't see.
Hey, Jim's doing soccer. It's a legitimate sport.
Oh God, no, he's not doing a legitimate sport, but he's big timing us as usual.
Yeah, I think he's somewhere in Arkansas handling a conference soccer tournament type of thing. So
after we're done, I got a little story about Jim. But anyway,
that's for the after-hours show.
The after-hours show. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we can get kind of right into this. First on the agenda, you talked about football and basketball merging kind of at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it up. Talk about Mizzou.
Yeah,
You got Mizzou football.
I don't think we talked any Mizzou last week, so we got a lot to catch up on.
I wouldn't know because I didn't watch.
you were here.
I was not here. I did not watch.
So, I mean, you got Mizzou football playing. You've got Mizzou basketball. They started this week. They had their first regular season game. It's a good time to be a Tiger right now.
You want to be really no, it was not a good time to be a Tiger Saturday. They didn't win.
Saturday.
They let me down as they always do. Being a Tiger fan it's pretty gosh dang hard. And I just want them one gosh damn time, just one, to whoop a team's ass that they're not supposed to whoop. Just once.
I know.
Can you do it for me? Can you just bring me out of it?
If you use the Vegas odds, it might be this weekend too.
No, they're beating Tennessee. Let's go.
Yeah, I know they are, but
they?
By Vegas odds, they're not supposed to.
I don't know. Me and you both said they were going to beat Georgia too. Look
I'm sticking with it.
You're sticking with it?
Yeah, I'm sticking with it.
I have to. They only need one more to get to what I said. 8 wins.
And they've got Florida, who looks not good, and Arkansas, who looks even worse.
And they'll have a bowl game. So I figure they got a lot of chances to get this 8th win.
If they get to 10 wins, they are no longer playing in the Who Gives a Rat's Ass Bowl.
Okay, so if both of you think that they've got a shot against Tennessee, what lessons do they have to learn from Georgia? What do they have to do better for?
Hey, let's quit getting penalized so much.
Yeah.
Can we please quit getting the yellow hankies everywhere?
at the worst possible time.
Oh my
too.
God, we jump off sides at the we just do stupid things at the wrong. I mean, just the worst times. Worst
was-
times.
Jarvis said it. They do stupid things at the wrong time. Penalties and turnovers.
Mhm.
So the real three keys to this were Cook's interception to the defensive lineman when he shouldn't have thrown that ball, and he knows he shouldn't
No,
have thrown
throw it
that
at
ball.
the gosh dang ankles.
Two, the kickoff return that the guy tried to return, and we ended up with the ball inside the 5 when it should have just been a touchback.
Mhm.
And
Oh
then
my, was that not a big bonehead? What are you doing?
completely ridiculously stupid. And then the other interception, which he was trying to make a play on 4th. It was just a bad throw.
I mean, I'm okay with being aggressive, but that guy on the kickoff return, I'm like, you really, dude? Come on.
So
How about
outside of that,
the pass interference? You know, it's the third down. It's the pass interference call that
stupid
I don't.
penalties.
Was it? I mean, you've got.
It was a penalty, but it happened in other parts where Georgia committed the same thing, and it was not.
Well, of course, because it's Georgia. It's Georgia, Mizzou, and who's going to get? I don't care what they say. They're going to favor that blue blood, that team that's been there.
Well,
I mean,
it's the team that should be number 1 in the polls. They're number 2 in the college.
Garbage? What is that garbage?
Number 2. And if they lose, they fall out, and then the SEC's, they got to work to get their 2 teams in, and one of them has to be Georgia.
And I'm sorry,
24 now 25 game winning streak, and how can you
be number 2?
And the only way they can lose is the only way the SEC will allow them to lose is to someone like Alabama, because Alabama still could be in the rankings with a win at that point. Mizzou beating them doesn't put them into the top 4, so they're not going to let that happen. Outside of those stupid instances, if you look at the stats from the game, they're almost darn even.
Mm-hmm.
Yards, plays, first downs, passing yards. They even outrushed them.
And then
they didn't even go back to Schrader.
Yeah, let's bring up that rushing attack. Let's do that, Zach. How about that?
Hey, I was going to say for him being this stud SEC running back, he kind of vanished. Where was he when they needed him?
Because they didn't hand it to him. That's why.
Because they didn't give him the damn ball.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They didn't.
No, I was trying. I thought you were talking. I didn't know if you were talking about him or Nathaniel Pete.
Oh, we were.
That was better than him.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Nathaniel Pete. Yeah, because he's carried the ball a bunch lately.
Keep feet for those no gain rushes. That'll help.
Yeah, because when he did come in for Schrader on that one, oh God, he got stuffed. But yeah, I thought they should have ran the ball a little bit more in some instances. But I said that the week before too. And Drink has done a good job. I saw a thing today where they're mentioning him for Coach of the Year, and I'm like, I don't know about that. But
he's got Mizzou in a better place than what anybody thought they would be.
I agree, but Coach of the Year, I don't know. Yeah. Went out. Then okay,
he's on the list. I don't know that he is the Coach of the Year, but he should and he deserves to be on the list.
Well, think about it. 12th ranked. That's the highest ranking that they've ever had. When you go into this new format, now we can go back years later with Chase Daniel when they were number 1 for a week. But
Burden didn't play very well. I mean,
Burden got hurt, I think, at one point, didn't he?
He did. He got hurt at one point and was out of the game for a while. That hurt, I think.
Well, plus teams are going to shut Burden down. I mean, they're going to use a safety over the top. They're going to bracket him in with corners in using zone. Georgia switched to the zone in the second half, which made it really hard for them to find open receivers with the athletes that Georgia has in that secondary. Bodes well the fact that Mizzou's receivers basically whooped the crap out of them when Georgia went man-to-man. But that also means now nobody else is going man-to-man against them.
And I hated seeing Lovett score for Georgia. Anyone else score.
Especially on a basic run play like that.
Fast forward to Tennessee. Okay. They're going to have to put up 40. They're going to have to. Can they put up 40?
if the defense plays well, I don't know that they have to put up.
I don't
40.
think they have to put up 40.
They're going to have to put up 40.
Why?
Because Tennessee's offensively is really, really good.
So they're better than Georgia?
Offensively, I think so. I mean, you've got LSU.
LSU, they're better than LSU?
No, LSU's, I think, number one in terms of offense. They had to put up 40 to beat LSU.
Yeah, I don't know that Tennessee is in the same ballpark with Georgia and LSU offensively. They're good. I don't know that they're in the same ballpark. I struggle with trying to rely on Zach's ability to judge offensive talent.
Man.
Okay.
Well, somebody's got to take Chris's role around here. And
I would bet, but we all know you don't necessarily.
I don't pay up, so.
What, you're like Jim?
No, I take forever to do it. I will eventually pay up. I'm just not doing it yet. But
you suck too. Then you and Jim both suck.
But I don't know that they have to put up 40. I think they'll have to put up 30. I don't know that they have to put up 40.
Defense has to come to play. I mean, the secondary, I think
you are always down on their defense, and I don't think their defense is that bad.
I'm saying in critical times, if you go back. So Jarvis, when you say for once, I want them to beat a team that we're not supposed to beat, then the defense has to do something they haven't done before, which is they have to shut down another
team. Offense is the one that keeps making the dang penalties and mistakes.
I thought the defense did a really good job against Georgia. The offense let them down with poor field position in putting the defense in bad situations. Last couple of games, the defense has looked really good, I think, at times. Against
that's
good
the
competition.
At times. It needs to be, I think, in my opinion, more consistent.
Well, you can say that about the offense too at times.
Definitely.
So they're doing enough. They're still ranked 14th in the country. I still think they're pretty good offensively and defensively.
Is that where they're ranked at? I didn't even know what they dropped.
You had a boatload of teams just like that were ranked and slightly behind lose. I mean, Oklahoma loses to Oklahoma State. You had some other ranked teams go down. So yeah, it's good that they only dropped by a couple.
Yeah. I think the eyeball test to the committee, because they still played fairly well and they still looked good against one of the best teams in the country. I think that played a lot into where that ranking went for them.
They didn't play their best and still almost beat Georgia. I mean,
that first quarter was good. The first quarter, the play calling. Yeah, I mean, again, before Burden got hurt, you were able to execute and do everything that you wanted to do offensively. Defense was holding the field goals or stops, and I think that's just as Chris would say, something to the effect of that's all those 5 stars versus all the 3 stars. At some point, cream is going to rise to the top, and unfortunately it did, and it came out late.
Yeah, I still think that halftime adjustments are still an issue. I still think other teams are making more and better halftime adjustments than Drink is. I don't know to what effect. I'm not in the locker room. We're not there. We don't know what they're doing, but it just seems like they're making more and better halftime adjustments. So,
I mean, it's still a fun time to be a Mizzou fan right now. And
the fact that we're aggravated that they should have beat LSU, and then we're aggravated at the fact that they had their chance to beat again for the second year in a row, the back-to-back national champion. I think we've got to give Drink and everybody some credit that it's taken some time. Credit to Mizzou for sticking with Drink and Drink recruiting and all of that. And finally, you're starting to see some results, and it gives us that opportunity to not be that doormat so much in the SEC, and that we can kind of maybe elevate our status to be that next tier of a program.
We almost have to go back and think that really Odom left the program in way worse shape than what anybody ever thought he did. And it just took Drink a while to change the culture, change the staff, get different players in and get them in the right spots. I thought he's done a really good job this year of doing that. He's still got some learning to do. He did the biggest thing that we didn't think anybody like him would do, and he gave up play calling duty. play calling responsibilities. And the offensive coordinator, I think he's done a good job the first time going through the SEC. Was he a WAC? He was at San Diego State, so it was a WAC conference in multiple ways of that word. But
you know what makes this even better? Mizzou football. I mean, we're talking about it. It's relevant. We 2 weeks in a row are on national television. And that just leads you right into this basketball program, man.
Darn right.
What is Gates? Gates is the man, right? I mean, he's the man. He's got the second best recruiting class in the country.
Got another 7-footer recruited.
Dude, they're filled with 7-footers. I'd like to have a 6'2"-footer. I mean, come on there.
6'2"-footer.
6'2".
6'2" too.
Gates is the man.
I watched the game on Monday too. The competition wasn't great, but he's got a ton of new guys that are trying to figure out what they're going to do and get them to mesh. And at times they look darn near unstoppable offensively, and they're athletic and they get after it defensively, which is a sign of a Gates team. When this team starts to mesh, they're going to be a difficult matchup for a lot of teams. And they get everybody healthy.
You know, a lot of teams are going, oh man, because they got length and they got guards. I mean, it's going to be a fun ride. I can't wait. You know, we're going to get to enjoy the rest of this football season, hopefully a few more wins, and then go right into basketball with the way they're playing. I'm like, my son couldn't have picked the best time to go to Mizzou.
What you're saying is you picked the best time to have your son. That's what
I guess so. I guess I just need to make more trips up there is all there is to it.
I wonder. So tomorrow they have Memphis at home, and that'll be kind of a really good test to see what his team's really at.
Yeah, that's what I was seeing. Yeah,
I don't know much about only about a 1.5 favorite according to ESPN.
But it is supposed to be a packed house at Mizzou Arena tomorrow night.
Again, something that hasn't happened in several years.
So they play basketball tomorrow night, and they follow that up with the home game against Tennessee. Oh my God, my son's gonna have a hell of a weekend, dude.
Hopefully he remembers it.
Yeah, well,
tailgate's going to start at like 5:00 tomorrow night, and it lasts all the way through about 2:30 tomorrow afternoon.
I know what I would be doing. I would be sitting there reading a book before the game, get to the game, relax, cheer on the team, and then, relax before the football game, and,
right.
Doing all the things that a good kid would do.
Yeah.
Yep. You got study.
Just to get that
study hall.
You're just making sure you get that on air, correct? Right.
Yeah. It's like all those book covers behind you, right?
Hey. That's just decorations, man.
Right, exactly.
This is a man cave that I'm in right now. This is the birthplace of the coach's box right here.
Yes.
In the mansion of Jarvis. So you can't knock it. And you know what? I'm not even going to recognize who's commenting on the show, because if you can't show up to the show, I'm not going to mention you. I'm not going to even say that you said anything. If hunting is more important, I'm not going to acknowledge. Not going to do it. It'd be like if I was going fishing this weekend. Sorry, I can't be. No, I don't skip the show for that stuff. Work, death in the family, sickness. That's about it, man.
That's about it.
I'm always here. I'm always grinding. Like I don't know about the rest. So. I work. I work, and then I had to. I wasn't going to miss Gabe's first game. Was not going to miss that. So, I don't think that's on the agenda. That's something we should talk about.
We'll talk about that later, because I did want to get your opinion on this.
Good.
But
he respects Jarvis right now.
Right? He double barrel. But my question is, what do you think? What do you think the ceiling is for the Mizzou team in basketball this year?
Dude, I don't know. It's like the person that I'm not going to mention said, no one wants to play them. Blues up 2-1. No one wants to play Mizzou basketball. They don't want to play them in February and March. No one's going to want to play them.
No.
I think they could make a good run, but we'll see. Mizzou in the tournament isn't always good.
Yeah, I think it's going to matter.
There.
I think it's going to matter on how they mesh as the season moves forward.
Yeah.
If he can figure out a rotation, he's got a lot of pieces. I don't know that he can play all of them every night, but it does give some depth to when some guys get banged up, get little knocks. He can rest some guys and keep them healthy longer. But I think their preseason pick were 9th in the SEC. They're certainly better than 9th in the SEC.
You got to come ready to play.
Yeah,
I would think so too. I know you're adding a lot of new people and everything, but Gates has proven that he could do that. He did it last year. I mean, it's not like I don't know.
And he's not just a recruiter; he's an X's and O's. He can get the guys to play and do what they need to do, and he can make adjustments and he can scheme and game plan.
He has to be a great motivator. Those kids,
oh yeah,
when they're out there, look like they would die on that floor for him.
Well, you're gonna recruit that. I mean, you have your philosophy, and you're gonna go around the country, and you're gonna find those guys. And speaking of those guys, with Brown going, he either graduated or went into the NBA, put his name in.
He could have came back.
Could have came back. So how do they replace him? Not only, I mean, he was obviously their offensive leader, but being a mainstay there at Mizzou, how do they go about replacing all that he did?
Well, I think they're going to go about it differently. They've got way more size. They'll have some size in the paint to be able to do things when everybody's healthy. But they've got a couple of guards who can fill it up from the outside. The kid from Iowa State.
Yeah, and he didn't shoot it very well the other night. But
no, but I remember watching him last year in some games, and if he gets on a roll, he is a streaky shooter. I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank. The kid from Indiana who came back home. He was a Kansas City kid who went to school and who went to University of Indiana, and he came back home this year. He knocked down 4 threes. I think he had 18 points.
I think they had 4 guys in double digits. And I know
at least they had 101.
I think he played 11 guys in his rotation Monday night.
You're not gonna. Why not?
Well, yeah. I wonder how that's gonna get as the season goes on.
I think if he can run, he's got enough guys to do it and keep people fresh. But it's really not. It's tough to do that and let guys get into the flow of the game and do that. I think he did that last year. There were times when, he had 2 or 3 guys that had bum ankles and banged up, but he didn't have to force them to go out and play because there was somebody else down that bench who could go play as well. So that's going to be the thing. What's his rotation going to be, and how do the rest of those guys mesh when it gets into time for conference games in the SEC come end of December?
Well, I know we're talking college basketball. I'll bring this up. How about some of the early upsets? And both on the men's side and the women's side. I mean, LSU women, now they lose to a ranked Colorado, but then how about Michigan?
Bad.
Right? And then how about Michigan State and Izzo? And they losing to, I think it was James Madison. And so that's just something that I guess is there with the transfer portal. I mean, I guess we're still kind of dealing with COVID, all of those extra years. Those guys have to be about out by now. Are we going to see more parity when you see in college basketball with the opportunity?
Did you see the Florida Atlantic team all stay together? They all
yeah.
Their starting five is back. So I watched them on ESPN really late the other night, and they were just killing some team. And I just think the parity with the way it's set up right now, and these kids can move, I kind of like it. I'm not saying I like all this movement all the time, but I mean the parity stuff I like.
Well, you're starting to see some kids go to some schools in an effort to get a chance to play rather than just go to a school because it's the name on a front.
Yes.
And so you're going to see some guys that'll end up at schools like James Madison, and some of those mid majors or low majors, or low mids, that'll give them a chance, and they can really play with some of those larger schools who may have a lot of kids that are new to the program and haven't meshed and don't understand coaching philosophies, or Izzo hasn't figured out how to coach the guys as the team as a whole. So maybe they're struggling through game plans and stuff.
Yeah,
but
I don't take a whole lot into Michigan State and Izzo losing this early. They're always there at the end of the year, always.
So
did you see the question? The thing though about old coaches like him is that's
what I was going to bring up.
Okay.
That's what I was going to bring up. Are we moving past a generation of coaches and we're moving into a new era, kind of like I guess maybe NFL with quarterbacks, with all of those guys now retired? What do you guys think? Can old coaches still stay relevant in this game that is producing? I mean, it's just a different type of basketball. It really is.
I mean, Ron Washington, I know it's a different sport, but Ron Washington just got a head coaching job as a baseball guy at 70-something years old.
Baseball, in those older coaches, they will struggle with the idea of the transfer portal and kids coming and going as they please. And, there's a little bit of that old school mentality that gets lost with the portal and the stay and fight for your spot type of thing that those maybe they're used to. And the big part that what I've heard, and I've heard this from even lesser sport coaches, is it's not about the recruiting the kids coming in. It's you have to re-recruit your current roster
you have to
every year. And that is what is really tough on some of those. Hey, I recruited this kid once already. I'm not going to keep recruiting him. Why do I have to keep doing this? And it's not me. It's a tough thing to have to deal with, that the younger coaches maybe understand that more because they were assistants and they were always the one having to recruit their roster.
I don't like it. I hate it.
So let me ask you this then. Let me play devil's advocate and flip it onto the student athlete side and say, why do I want to stay here when you promised me A, B, C, X, Y, Z, and you're not living up to your end of the bargain? You told me I was going to come in and do this, that, and the other, and now I'm barely playing or getting the opportunity to showcase my skills. I'm going to go someplace else. I'm throwing that out there. Do you think that happens?
I'm sure that happens.
Well, it's happening. I mean, look at the movement of kids. I mean, it's happening.
I think that happens in a lot of places. I think kids were told that they'd be given a chance to compete, and maybe they did get a chance to compete and they lost out. And they're not really getting their chances or what they thought was competing.
I still think someone like Tom Izzo is still going to be able to coach.
Oh,
no matter what day and age it is. I mean, the dude can coach. And you know what? Some of these kids like that style. Some of these kids need that in-your-face style. Now, I'm not saying all, and I know we're getting so touchy-feely around this world, but there are some kids that will still respond to people like Izzo.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead, Zach. Go ahead,
I was going to say, and I think that goes when you talk about Mizzou, you talk about some of these other programs that are always successful year in, year out. As a coach, you have to recruit the player that fits your philosophy. I don't think you can be enamored by stars. Oh, this is a 5-star. This is a 4-star, especially in basketball. I don't see.
I think it helps, but yeah.
I think but in all reality, how much difference are we talking about if I got to recruit a guy that's 6'8"? I got to recruit a 6'8" now small forward or maybe a power forward. And this guy's a 4-star, but this guy's a 3-star. But the 3-star fits into the mental side of the game, whether that's the work ethic, whether that's already understanding X's and O's more than the 4-star. To me, I think if you're going to be hired and fired as a coach, you got to go get guys that you believe in, not just worry about, oh, this guy's a 5-star type kid or a 4-star type kid. And I think that's what Mizzou's done.
Yeah. If it were just about coaching, I think those guys would still be in the game and able to do it if it's just about X's and O's and doing that. But it's all that other ancillary stuff that I think really kind of muddies the water when it comes to coaches and generational coaches, because it's the transfer portal, it's the media requirements, it's the things like that really take a huge tax and toll on time that I think really affects the effectiveness of coaches
look at
in
Calipari,
determining whether they're good or not.
Right. I mean, look at Calipari. What has he done lately within the last last few years or few seasons? Kentucky has it there. Okay. He's getting guys, he's getting recruits, but I mean, yeah, hey, I'm a Hall of Famer already. I'm already in the Hall of Fame. I've already won some national championships, but I'm not. Am I doing the best that I can? And if I'm not, what's the problem? Is it my scheme, or is it the guys that I'm getting? I'm getting 5-star guys, but are they the guys that I need?
Yeah, it's you're going to see that, but then you see some new guys kind of stepping up into it, and Gates is one of those types of guys that are filling some of those roles, and you don't see as much of the. I think who's the guy at Tennessee, Barnes. Rick Barnes. I think he's done a really good job of adapting to some of what the new environment of college basketball is and being successful with it. But he hasn't, outside of a couple of deep runs, he hasn't really won anything. So
right, yeah. Well,
I don't know that people realize just how hard it is to win it. I mean, to get there, to win it, to have it all fall into play.
It's two different seasons. It really is. It's your regular season and your
and to have luck on your side, or to catch fire when it's tournament time. I mean, there's just so much that plays into it.
Matchups. Does the matchup that I have, does that bode well for me, or do
am I in the good region that has a good path to get there? Am I going to have to play one of those teams that's a 12 seed but could be a 5 seed, really? I mean, it's like there's so much that goes into it come tournament time. It's hard to judge a coach just by what they did in the tournament. But I mean, it is about wins. That's what I mean. You got to win.
And a lot of it is, and we talk about Calipari. What has he done? He puts guys in the NBA, and that's what a lot of some of those recruits are looking for. So you can win all you want, but if you got guys in the NBA, that's going to look very attractive to some of those high school kids.
The players, I don't think the people in Lexington really care. I think they worry about the banners that he needs to hang up. I mean, if I'm a kid and I'm like, hey, I want to go pro, I'm probably going to go with Calipari. But the boosters and the shot callers and all of that.
Well, I mean, if money says anything, you're going to go to Kansas. What are you talking about? You're going to go to the highest paid coaches. You're going to go there. You're going to go to that college, the college that they can break any rules. It doesn't matter. And a poor little Mizzou turns themselves in, and we get sanctioned the crap out of. But hey, Bill Self and Kansas, you Jayhawks do whatever.
You're talking about Mizzou gets sanctioned because other schools turn themselves in. Yeah,
I mean, it's just it's screw KU. Anyway,
well, it's been about that time. Let's go ahead and we're going to take our first break of the night. We'll be back with our second segment in just a couple minutes. If I can find the right button here. Hold on.
Here it goes.
We're good.
Chris Jr.
I'm the play-by-play announcer who's in your ear all game long. And the more praise I heap on your team, the more excited you get. Touchdown! Now, you don't hear the upstairs toilet overflowing, and I don't mean with confidence. You wanted a bowl season? You got a bowl season. And if I can show up on game day, imagine what could happen the rest of the week. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
Imagine an HVAC as unnoticeable as the air itself. Sounds pretty good, huh? The new Daikin Fit. Air intelligence.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
Guys, if you've been in to check out the changes at Casey Buck's Grub and Pub, stop by, check us out. We've got awesome wings. We got great pizza. We got a steak sandwich, a steak salad. Holy cow. We got games. We've got lotto. We've got cold beer. We've got a little bit of everything. Stop by, check us out. Check out the weekly specials. Barbecue, pork steaks. Yum. Harold's Market. Thank you, my friends. Check us out. We are waiting for you.
For 24 years, really enjoyed being a basketball coach. When I retired from coaching, I decided that I wanted to get back into the media world. I look at it from more of a coach's point of view. I love to showcase guests. I love to tell their stories, not just locally and regionally, but nationally as well. Joe Namath, Kurt Warner, Patrick Ewing, Katie Smith. Not just talk about their accolades, but what they have given back to the game, what they've given back as leaders in their community. And I want people to be able to listen to my show and to be able to take that into their lives. They're going to be able to live their life like a champion. That's a show right there that I feel like is worth listening to.
All right, welcome back to segment number 2 here on the Coach's Box. Guys, I think there's some local football teams playing each other. A little bit of rivalry. My alma mater is going to go over there to the Hawk land and hopefully take down the Hawks.
Lost my mic.
Lost his mic.
So I think this is probably going to be a very interesting game to watch because it could probably go one or two ways. Hillsborough, who is really good, could either end up running away with this thing, or Festus finds a way to keep it close for a while and give themselves a chance.
Last year I went all in on Festus on this game and got kicked in the face. So I don't see it. I don't know if can Festus stop the Brown show. I mean, he's got 27 touchdowns. The kid's a player. And Hillsborough's just, you got Hillsborough 9-1, you got Festus 8-2. Festus lost to Valley and Hillsborough. Mm-hmm. Hillsborough's only loss is to Cardinal Ritter. I don't know, man.
I do think Festus has an opportunity here to catch somebody off guard. They are still a very good football team. Mm-hmm. they can throw the ball a little bit. They can do some things. They like to run. They mix it up fairly well. So
you got the Bates kid who's pretty good, pretty solid for Festus, and I mean he's not the only one, but I mean
there's
first one that comes to mind when I think of them, and I mean it's interesting, good for the county. Hillsboro Festus always brings in a huge crowd. I played in many Hillsboro Festus games. My junior and senior year, they were packed and some of the most fun games I've ever played in.
Yeah. If go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm looking at the last time they had played, and Hillsboro won 42-21. So, I mean, they doubled them up, and it looked like Hillsboro got out to a fast start. It was 28-7 going into a halftime. And so, you know, Jarvis, you're the resident football coach here. If we'll take into the mind of a coach. If you're Festus, what do you have to do? If you're Hillsboro, what do you have to do? What are your kind of keys to the game?
And I think you brought up one of the biggest keys for Festus is they got to get up and get out and get on top fast. If they can get on top fast, build some confidence in their kids, then, you know, hey, we may be able to win this thing and, you know, see what happens. It's a fast start always helps, no matter what sport you're in. You guys know. I mean, a fast start can always help. You know, it's been like an 8-year run that Hillsboro's owned Festus, I think, something like that. So
I'll be interested to see. I don't know that they have to get to a hot start. I think they have to probably keep Hillsboro from getting off to their normal hot start.
Yeah, if it depends on, like, say if Festus wins the toss, are you deferring and hoping you get that, or are you hoping you get a stop, or are you going to go on offense and hopefully you score in that first possession?
I might be tempted to go on offense first.
See,
that would be a big decision for me, huh?
I defer.
You defer.
It just, anytime you have those games, you've got a lot of adrenaline early on both sides, and so that's a time when both sides can maybe make a mistake here or there. They miss an assignment, and I look at it as if I'm Festus, knowing that they can put up a lot of points, I don't want to give them the opportunity late in the first half to score and then automatically get the ball back and then have another chance and create a potential 14-point swing that way. I'd rather I want to get the ball back to start the second half. That way, if we are somewhat close in the first half, maybe I can carry some type of momentum.
Yeah, you can kick it off to them, and then it's 2 plays in a Hillsboro score, and then where are you?
Yeah, I'm thinking the exact opposite, Zach. I'm like, I'm going to take the ball. I'm going to go try to build some confidence in my kids.
Exactly.
And go score first, and then if I get a stop and get a chance to score and possibly go up 2 scores to start the game. I think it's going to come down to the way Festus wins this game is to have more possessions than Hillsboro does. And I think you take the first one and try to go score first. But as a coach, you got to know your kids. If they want to go do that first and you can go score first, I'm taking the ball and going trying to score first.
And I'm going to have to go with Kevin on this. Of course. I mean, I'm not going to go with McVey. But if Festus could drive it down the field and take 6-8 minutes off the clock, score a touch, I think you keep the ball away from Hillsboro. As long as you can keep the ball away from Hillsboro,
you do whatever you can to keep the ball away.
I don't want to have to worry about Brown. I want to keep the ball away from him.
Yeah.
Okay, let's flip it. Go ahead.
Hillsboro's thrown the ball more this year as well, so you can't just load up the box and try to stop Brown because the other Brown and Chase Saharsky can kill you just as much in the air.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but it's good that 2 county teams battling out for the district title. I like it.
Yep, I think it's been that way for the last couple of years.
That's like I said. I think Hillsboro's owned Festus for several years.
Well, you've got keeping on the local scene. You've got Jefferson R7. They're playing. They're the 1 seed playing Live for Life. They're playing for a district title as well. I think that's going to be a battle for the Blue Jays. That it's nice that they're going to have that ball game at home. I got a chance to watch Live for Life a little bit when they played Farmington. This is now several weeks ago, and my first impression was, man, they've got a lot of speed. So if you're R7, what do you do to combat that?
Keep the ball away from them.
like clock control, basically.
You're gonna want to clock control.
It's a Jefferson may go back to what they've done in years past and just try to run the ball down the throat and don't give them a chance to let their athletes make plays out in space.
It's hard for me to really say what I think about this game because
you don't have to.
I don't want to add any fuel to any other fires later on down the road, but I think it's going to be a tough game for R7.
I think Jefferson has an opportunity here.
Because
I don't know that Live for Life. They've played some good teams.
Their schedule has been loaded. Yes,
but I
talk about Live for Life schedule.
Yes,
they've played
wonder
some really
if
good
they
teams.
I wonder if they take Jefferson a little lightly based on the schedule.
They might. I mean,
I don't think they can after playing Herman last week and it coming down to why I don't. Again, kids are kids, and you never know what's going on in between their ears. As a coaching staff, they're not, but hopefully the kids aren't. They're at least like, hey, let's take care of business early and often as much as we can.
Yeah. Coach Atley will have his kids ready. I mean, he does a really good job game planning, so he's probably got something up his sleeve somewhere to try to nullify some of that speed.
Yeah. And they've got athletes too. Breeze, Breeze is doing all kinds of stuff.
Breeze back.
He's been back, and man, you talk about both sides of the ball. He's doing excellent. They've got the sophomore.
Oh yeah, he's a good player.
Running back. I mean, Frisk. He's doing an excellent job. They've got the other receiver as well. I mean, again, they're the 1 seed for a reason. So I think that'll be a good matchup. Crystal City's still playing. I know the Class 1 has a different
it's
schedule.
It's a semifinal this week.
Yeah, they had those 8-9.
Do they have Russellville?
Whoever they're playing, I think, is like 10-0. I think something like that. They're playing.
I think it is. I think it might be Russellville. I should have looked that up.
Yeah, I'm gonna right now because it aggravates me that I.
But
don't
they've been playing really good ball. They had a barn burner last week as well, and Coach Fox is again just another year in the system. They've got all those boys back, and they've been winning some ball games. Yeah,
my bad. They have Tipton.
Oh yeah. Okay.
What Tipton's 10-0, aren't they? Something like that.
I'm not totally sure. I'm looking it up here. They are 8-2.
8 and Tipton is okay.
Yeah, they are 8-2 because they beat Louisiana last week 40-8.
And Louisiana is one of the teams that I think beat Crystal.
Yep.
Yes, Crystal lost to Louisiana 12-8. That was a very close game. I watched film on that game because it was a tape that I'd gotten from a buddy of mine who had to play Crystal later on. So, Crystal, if it was a 40-8, they beat Louisiana. I mean, if you're just comparing scores, I don't know. I'm betting Crystal. Coach Fox will have something, and the Raftery kid, he's tough. He's a tough runner. If they are healthy, I don't know if they're completely healthy or not either. But if they're completely healthy, I mean, Crystal's a tough out.
Yeah, the 2 games or the 3 games that Crystal's lost, I think by combined like 14 points. So
they lost to us on the last play of the game.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. So I think they lost.
We threw up a Hail Mary and caught it. I mean, and it was great for our kids, great for Herculaneum, but Crystal. I don't know. Where's that game at? Let me look back. I gotta look to see where
it's a higher seed. It's at Crystal.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was. Yeah,
I think that's how that works.
I'm pretty sure by the way it's on here. Yep, it's at Crystal City. So, a couple games around here. If you want to go to one, you can go to Hillsboro Festas. You got Crystal.
You got a big one up north. You've got Seckman
playing
Jackson. And
Yeah,
Seckman being undefeated, that's the 10-0
Seckman
team.
having Jackson at Seckman and not having to go to the pit is big for them.
Mm-hmm. I think they said that's the
real
first
big
time
for them.
and first time since like maybe 2014 that Jackson's had to go on the road for a district championship game. So,
well, and that's what I was kind of thinking about Tipton Crystal. Tipton's pretty far from here.
Mm-hmm.
So to come to Crystal, I mean, that's a trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Jackson, I mean, what's their only loss to Edwardsville, I think, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I believe it is Edwardsville.
yeah, I mean, they've beat some good teams. That ought to be that's gonna be a tough one for Seckman, in my opinion.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those games where you have a team that has been there and done that so many times versus a team that hasn't and has to kind of break through that ceiling. And again, I mean, Seckman, the fact that the Rubel kid graduated last year, along with a lot of other guys.
Dude, you gotta give Coach Bear some respect, man. I mean, to lose one of the best players in the St. Louis area. And then to turn around and go 9-0, I don't care if you want to say they have a weak schedule, blah, blah, blah. You play the games you're scheduled, and that's what you got to play. And to be sitting where they are right now, I mean, kudos to them, kudos to the staff, and the kids at Seckman, because, they used to be the whooping boy of everyone. And man, I've been very impressed with the run they've been on, and especially, I mean, you lose a kid like that and do what they did.
That just shows that Coach Bear has changed that culture of
for
Seckman
sure.
football. And he's done it quickly in just a couple of years. And it's huge credit to him for that.
Yeah, he's got a Coach Taylor, who's a CMC grad and a Beta Sigma. That's the only reason why I'm saying that, because we are the same fraternity, but I think he's on his staff. He's on his staff as the D coordinator, so he's got some good coaches. And
you mean your fraternity wasn't I tap a keg or something like that, or
I don't know that. I still don't know how to tap a keg. But anyway, I got some property in Arizona, oceanfront too. But it's been impressive to watch Seckman over the last few years. They've really turned that program around. It's awesome to see. It's awesome to have Jefferson County represented, still playing.
Well, speaking of Jefferson County, I mean, Jarvis, you kind of had a special moment last week. Why don't you tell us all about that? Talking about Jefferson College men's basketball.
Yeah, it was pretty good moment for me. The first kid I've ever had go to college in my getting ready to start my 9th season, but in 8 years as a head coach at Herculaneum, this is the first guy I've ever had go to college and play college ball. And, they lost, but it was good to see them be competitive. And, they were up at half, I think 38-36. And then the second half, Jeffco's not very big. They don't have, the other team had a couple 6'6" guys, a 6'9" guy, I think. But Jeffco's just not very big. Give Walker some time. I hope people give him some time. It's not going to happen overnight. But, dude, it was awesome to see Gabe out there. I got to talk to him, got to take a picture with him after the game. And to see all the support from Jefferson County, and to see all the people there. Now, they did only have one side of the gym open. I hope
that was packed. That one
side was packed. I'm like, man. So hopefully it'll get. I know they play this Saturday. I haven't talked to the wife yet upstairs, but I'm planning on going. They play at 7:00, I believe, this Saturday at Jeffco again, and I'm going to try to go out there and see as many games as I can. I mean, Gabe's one of those kids that's been dear to my heart the whole time I've had him, and so proud of him. He's got great grades out there too. I got to talk to his dad, and it was a good moment.
Awesome.
One that I won't forget.
That's awesome. I mean, again, just local kid playing for the local college. You've got another one in
Yeah, you had the 3 freaking county boys did well, man. You had Rickerman had 13 points. Gabe, I'm not sure what his total was. I think it was around 8. Had a couple steals, assists, and then Bransicum, who hasn't played in a while. I think he went to Webster for a bit. He's probably I think they call him Grandpa on the team because he's one of the older ones, but. He played he gave him some quality minutes too, some hustle plays, and it's good to have some county guys on that team for sure. Mm-hmm. I think that's a big reason why it went away in the first place. There wasn't a whole lot of county talent out there, and so you can get 2 or 3 every year out there.
That's tough. I mean, that's tough as a college, and I'll say this. It's tough because I had a girl. Now this is years ago when Jeffco had Danelia Adams, who went into the WNBA. When they went to the national championship game, they were ranked number 2 for 2 years that she played, and had a girl that Jeffco was recruiting. And what do you think I should do? And I said, listen, are you going to play? I mean, this is the number 2 team in the country. They've got all this D1 talent that's going to go. Are you just going to be a county name? If you are, go somewhere where you're going to play. And I think that's the balancing act for local community colleges. Hey, try to find talent that's in the county and around the county, but they've got to be good enough. That you can't just be, hey, let's just have a team full of just local kids. You got to go compete and win.
Yeah, I think outside of I think Bone and who was before Bone, the baseball program and the softball program have both done a good job of it. But Walker has done a really good job of getting local talent that can help him, and not just being a coach that just gets the local name because he says he has to get local talent just to have them sitting at the end of the bench.
Gabe didn't start, and he was the first guy he signed. So, I mean, it is what it is.
But Gabe played it. But Gabe plays a big role with that team, and I'm not necessarily saying they have to start. But in the past,
I'm not either. What I'm saying is, you could get some county kids, but they're going to have to be able to play at that level. I mean, it's okay if you get 1 or 2 that aren't going to play if it's not, it's rounding out your roster. It's a good thing that Gabe's good enough. It ain't going to matter.
But, I'm just saying, I say that because Jeffco put an emphasis on having some local talent on these teams. Mm-hmm. And it really is kind of, and I'll say it's the soccer program has struggled with it because they haven't had local talent on their team, and they've gotten a lot of people from overseas and out of the area. And there's just not the foothold that is. Mineral Areas program, on the other hand, has a lot of local talent. Their soccer program does, and kids like to go play there more. One of those reasons.
And I'll say this, just being down there for several years, this is going to sound bad, but there's more soccer talent. If you're going to talk about soccer, I mean, you've got a couple Jefferson County teams, but there's several down in the MAAA. And then you even look at some of the MAC players are from Jefferson County as well.
Yeah.
But guys, there's a difference. There really is a difference from, and this, I'm not saying anything you don't know, but going from high school to college, even if it labeled junior college, because I know there's a lot of high school kids think, oh, it's just JUCO. No, there's some pretty darn good junior college athletics going around, and even around locally. So,
I'm not gonna lie to you. I wasn't sold in the beginning, right when, because Gabe was the first one they signed. They signed him right off the bat, and I'm like, and before Gabe signed, I'm like, you just got to make sure that this is the right fit, because I was worried that, it's going to sound terrible, I was worried that they were just trying to get him to have that Jefferson County name, and I was worried in the back of my mind, is that what this is going to be? And he's not going to get playing time, and then he's going to be miserable. And luckily, and it's like I told him the other night, I don't know if he was happy or not with his playing time, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, he played quite a bit. And I had told him, don't worry about the starting stuff, dude. You're going to make your coach have to play you. You're going to make him. I mean, and that's your mindset. Go into it. You're going to make him have to play you.
It's a long season. He'll probably end up with some starts as the season goes on and get some opportunities. And by the mid-December, all those things change. And we all know that. We have a starting 5 that starts the year. And then by January, you've probably got a piece or two that's a little bit different. And you got kids in different roles once you get them into games.
I thought it was cool just seeing all the people that are interested in high school basketball in Jefferson County out at Jeffco supporting it. I mean, you had Dan Johnson, the head coach at Festus. You had their AD out there, the former coach of Festus, Jason Therrell. I mean, I saw several other coaches in the stands. You had some old coaches. Harold Edding was getting recognized for his work out at Jeffco, and it was just good to see Jefferson County supporting it. And I hope it wasn't just a one-night thing. I hope people go out and support the team. And hopefully they'll get some more good, because there's some good basketball talent right around here. And if you go a little south of here and a little north of here, I mean, you keep St. Louis, Jefferson County and mineral area type of players, I think people are going to support it.
Definitely.
I mean, it was cool. The whole side of the bleachers was packed. The atmosphere was cool too. They gave everyone a free T-shirt that got there.
That's cool.
The first 250 people got. So I got a T-shirt. You got a free hot dog, popcorn, and a drink. And I mean, Jeffco's trying to do it right.
Yeah.
That you said building a culture. I mean, that's a process. The best way to do that, or one of the best ways, is to try and find some rival. And whether that's, I don't know if they play, whether that's going to be a MAC or if a Three Rivers or some local schools within driving distance. If you can maybe create that buzz, I think that's how you get butts in the seats, and that's how you get kind of that name recognition, like, ooh, Jeffco, Jeffco men's basketball.
Well, and they got
in this, there's a couple of options when it comes to creating rivals that they can go with. So,
and it's a unique situation too. You have Coach Walker, which I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying he coaches both the boys and the girls. And it was cool. All the girls players were there throwing out shirts and, encouraging everyone to come to their game. And because one of them gave me some trouble because I picked up a calendar that had the schedule on it. I'm like, hey, what about the girls' calendar? I'm like, nah, I said, and she goes, well, you ain't got to come out and support the girls. I go, well, I coach Gabe. I was kind of wanting, it's hard during basketball season to be a head coach and get away much. I said, but when she goes, well, we'll play double. I go, when you play double header, I will be here for the girls' game too if I can, But she gave me a bunch of trouble. But it was really cool. They're supportive of each other. It was an awesome atmosphere.
Good.
Well, let's go ahead and we'll take our break now before we get into our third and final segment of the night.
When we come back, I want to say something again about Mizzou. It'll be real quick.
Okay. So, Jarvis will bring us back in just a minute.
All right.
Several, but yeah, we'll go.
I'm the play-by-play announcer who's in your ear all game long. And the more praise I heap on your team, the more excited you get. Touchdown! Now, you don't hear the upstairs toilet overflowing, and I don't mean with confidence. You wanted a bowl season? You got a bowl season. And if I can show up on game day, imagine what could happen the rest of the week. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
Imagine an HVAC as unnoticeable as the air itself. Sounds pretty good, huh? The new Daikin Fit. Air intelligence.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
Guys, if you've been in to check out the changes at Case and Buck's Grub and Pub, stop by, check us out. We've got awesome wings, we got great pizza, we got a steak sandwich, a steak salad. Holy cow, we got games, we've got lotto, we've got cold beer, we've got a little bit of everything. Stop by, check us out, check out the weekly specials, barbecue, pork steaks, yum. Harold's Market, thank you, my friends. Check us out. We are waiting for you.
For 24 years, really enjoyed being a basketball coach. When I retired from coaching, I decided that I wanted to get back into the media world. I look at it from more of a coach's point of view. I love to showcase guests. I love to tell their stories, not just locally and regionally, but nationally as well. Joe Namath, Kurt Warner, Patrick Ewing, Katie Smith. Not just talk about their accolades, but what they have given back to the game, what they've given back as leaders in their community. And I want people to be able to listen to my show and to be able to take that into their lives. They're going to be able to live their life like a champion. That's a show right there that I feel like is worth listening to.
Hey, we are back for our third and final segment here on the Coach's Box. We want to be short and quick because it's almost McVey's bedtime, but
It's past that.
But I'm gonna try to prolong this as long as I can. So, I mean,
that's fine. I just shut the computer, the laptop, and you can talk as long as you want.
That's fine. Viewership may go up. So. I was wrong when I was talking about the Mizzou basketball program on their game the other night. They had 5 in double figures. East had 21, Honor had 18, Bates had 18, Carter had 15, and Grill had 15.
East was a monster the other night.
It fouled out of the game even, but yeah, he was a monster. He was. Yeah. And I think the Bates guy.
That's the one I was talking about, the one from Indiana.
Yes, I like him. Yep, I like him. Jarvis seal of approval on him. I wish I had that.
I'll make sure we tweet that to him from the Coach's Box Twitter.
From the Coach's Box, there you go. All right,
Yeah. So, all right. So we're gonna finish up the evening with
I see these debatable topics. I looked at the agenda. Thank you.
You had to, there's only Kevin and I, so you had to.
I still don't have to. I just did.
Listen, Jarvis doesn't have to. He chose to because Chris isn't here today. So that's what I'm staying with the positive dog tonight. All right.
Gosh, dang.
All right. So debatable topic. One former head basketball.
Hey, gosh, dang, you come find out I didn't. Golly, really?
Juju, bad juju.
I caught myself.
Man,
I
that
caught
was
myself.
quick.
Hey, I caught myself. All right. Jamborees, are they worth it?
Go ahead.
Current.
Go ahead. First. You want me to? Okay.
Yeah, you
okay.
go first.
I 100% love jamborees, and I'm going to tell you why. There's the coaching side of it, then there's the player/parent side of it. So what I always wanted to do was, if I had position battles and I had that jamboree, we would go in and I would have our player talk, player coach talk about, hey, this is what I see your role being, but you're in a position battle going into this jamboree. So this jamboree is going to answer some questions for me, whether that, are you going to be a starter? Are you going to be coming off the bench? Are you going to get major minutes? Whatever the case may be. Okay. Now we have that conversation, player coach. That answers questions that I have, at least early on in the season, because like Kevin, you alluded to, things are going to change come New Year's. Now, the other reason why I like it as a coach is that you have mom and dad, grandpa, grandma, whoever up in the stands are going to get to see their kid play, and they're going to get to see their kid play against other competition, not just what they hear at the dinner table when they come home and they say, oh man, I'm better than so-and-so. So they actually get to see it. And then maybe it's a chance for them to have their eyes open, like, hey, my kid is as good as they say, or man, my kid's not as good as they say. And hopefully that alleviates some early potential issues when it comes to things like playing time. But I love the jamboree, again, just because you're going to get an opportunity to play. You get to see from the coaching perspective what type of team that you have, and honestly, what type of things you need to maybe change as a coach at practice before your first game. Hey, I wanted to do this. That didn't work. We need to make some adjustments.
Jarvis?
Man, this is going to pain me. It's really hurts.
Okay, go ahead. Hold on. Let me say it in my good ear.
I picked this one for a reason, Zach.
This is going to hurt, though, because I like the jamboree, and I hate that he likes it. But anyway, I like it for some reasons similar to his, but dude, we got to play against someone else before we go out there and flop or not flop in that first game. I want to get all that pregame jitter out of the way. I want to get what we're going to do for warm-ups. I want to get, how I'm lucky it's an away. So I'm going to get this is how we're going to travel. This is how it's going to look like. I'm bringing our whole team, whether they play or not. Everyone is going. We're all going to go. They're going to sit there and watch the ones that aren't playing. It's just good to play against another team. They're sick of beating on each other. Now, some years it's better. Like this year, I've only had the full squad because I had to basically have another 2 days of tryouts, Monday and Tuesday, for any cross country or football, right? And so I only had the full squad practice for Wednesday, all right, and today. So it's a little short turnaround for me. We got tomorrow's practice and then Saturday, and then hopefully I don't have any hunters like Chris. And then we'll practice on Monday, and then have our jamboree. So Zach mentioned a few other things. I graduated 6 seniors, so I got a lot of decisions to make. I know for sure 3 starters probably that in my head, but there's some positions that could be open there and changing. And I got some new kids. I got a couple kids that weren't even in the program last year. So jamborees help you figure out, hey, and not only that, you get to see how a kid reacts to adversity against another team. You get to see how a kid acts towards an official. There's a lot of things you can learn from jamboree.
You mentioned it, and the big thing, Jason, that I always liked with jamborees, I'll speak from the softball coach level first, and that's I got a chance to go through my pregame warm-up for a game and I can work out any kinks. You can go through it in practice, but you don't have the time constraints of, you know, got to get.
And if it totally sucks, you're like, oh shoot, I got to change that.
Crap, we completely missed that type of thing or whatever. And then, but you know, you go through that. But like you said, for you, Jason, having all those kids new to your program, new to it this year, that are in new roles, leadership roles, playing roles, it's a different environment for them when it comes to things like warm-ups and getting travel, like getting for softball, and not so much in basketball, but in softball, getting equipment from the shed onto the bus, and then making sure who's doing that. Because when your seniors are generally the ones that lead that. So I've got to have some juniors from last year that are seniors this year step up and make sure that all the equipment, the right equipment, gets on the bus, and that it's taken care of. And so, yeah, that's what jamborees were good for.
Well, and just riding the bus and getting in the right frame of mind for a basketball game. You know, I got some young kids in my program that may have to play some up at the upper levels, and they're going to learn quickly with that jamboree how we want to do things. And you know, like I said, graduate 6 seniors, you got a lot of teaching to do.
Yeah, a lot of opportunity for them, and that's the thing. I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. Is that maybe not necessarily dealing with adversity, but you get to see how they react. Bright lights come on. Again, I'll use you just because you said you graduated 6 kids. So you've got a team that you've got all of this vacancy that you have to fill, and you don't quite know what to expect. And so you may not even, and I'm not saying you Jarvis, I'm just saying a coach may not even look and or worry about, does the offense look good? Does the defense look good? You might be individually watching individuals. How do they react? How are they responding to being in that game, and figuring out, do they have it between the ears?
Well, and do they, or can they respond to in-game coaching versus at practice coaching? You know, and I talked a lot about that today. I had my parent meeting, as you were talking about, because you brought up parents at the jamboree. And, you know, it can open some eyes. You're a parent and your kid goes there and just flops on his face. Then you're like, oh, okay. You know, so it does open some eyes in that, that respect too. And I talked to the parents about, about playing time and, how we decide on that, and how it's not just about what they did last game. They could have 3 Fs and 3 classes in between that game and the next. And I've had 3 emails from teachers, and they got wrote up for this, or they got that, or that. It's not just about, well, they're the best basketball player. There's so much more that goes into all that. And I'm going to
continue, and I know we've said this over the years of doing the show, and I'm going to continue to shout from the rooftops. There is a million things that happen before you ever actually play a game that goes into winning a game.
Oh yeah.
There's just a million things that as a coach you try to control, but honestly, you have no control over. And we're
dealing with 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18-year-olds.
Right?
No. So you can't no. So jamborees I think are good. Now I would bet if Chris was here, but we're not going to hear. We're not going to hear it.
I was just about to do my best Chris Miller impression.
He doesn't like them.
He goes, I hate them. They suck. They're awful. They let other teams see what we can do, and I don't want anybody. I'm paranoid. I'm a paranoid coach that wants nobody else to know what I'm doing. I don't share film with no one.
What do you mean? The flex? You're gonna.
Hey, you saw that video I sent you in the group chat today, didn't you, Jason? That's Texas.
Texas, right?
My bad.
No, but Chris, that's what Chris would say. No, they're awful. They're stupid. They should be outlawed. They're illegal. We shouldn't do them. They're awful. They're stupid. I hate them.
People get hurt.
People get hurt. Yes. Yeah. They can't even call fouls right. Nothing. We can't do nothing right. No,
the refs suck. Not doing it. The players suck. The coaches suck. Everybody sucks at jamboree.
That's why you need the practice. That's why you need the jamboree right there. Well, I don't know how many times over the years.
Chris.
Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how many times over the years different reps would say, man, we need to practice too. Like, hey, darn right. I mean, that's why we have this. I mean, it's another opportunity for the kids to go out and play. And I kind of look at it, Jarvis, like you said, I always had a rotation for the Jamboree, kind of like my summer setup, which is everybody's going to get the same amount of minutes, and just go massa. Let me have different rotations, see what works, throw everything up against the wall. But I also looked at it for that kid because I was the 12th man on the bench that unless we're in mop up duty, I was never going in. And so try to throw that kid a bone and say, here, let's get you as much time that you are probably ever going to see outside of, again, maybe a game or two here or there.
It's easier for me with softball. I have because we play 2 4-inning scrimmages is how it works for softball and baseball when you have 3 teams. And I had all 8 of my innings already planned out for offense and defense and who's hitting when and what order and making those subs. So, I mean, it was much easier for me to do that, but I tried to plan it out as much as I could to see what pitchers could throw in what situations and coming out of the pen or getting a starting an inning, starting in the middle of an inning, just trying all those things.
And Jarvis, you brought up the whole hurt thing. Every year, fortunate enough to have some really, really, really good players down in North County, and they might get 2-3 minutes out of, whatever we're playing, 36 or however many minutes. And every year they'd always ask, why am I playing only a handful of minutes? We already know what you can do. There's no sense of attempting to, again, roll an ankle, somebody undercut you. There's no sense. I've got all these other kids that we need to figure out what they can do.
Oh, and all right. Last one of the evening. Best, as we're preparing for one of the greatest American holidays around.
Christmas?
And that goes out to all of you yahoos out there that already have your Christmas lights up.
Darn right.
Yes. Best Thanksgiving side dish. Go
ahead, Jarvis. I started last time. You go.
You say best Thanksgiving side dish. It's got to be the potatoes in the casserole, the party potatoes with the cheese, and the more cheese, the onions, and then either they crunch some cereal on top or some breadcrumbs, and then it's all crispy. And
man, you might have to send me that recipe.
Yeah,
that's what you just said. Potatoes and cheese with cereal.
Yeah, something like I don't know, my grandma.
We always call it it's called cornflake. It's called cornflake potatoes or something like that at our family. So,
well, I'm Scotch Irish, so mashed potatoes. That's it. That's mashed potatoes. And I'll go one step further.
I should have known it.
The next day, here's the best thing. Okay, again, you get some mashed potatoes, no gravy, mashed potatoes, corn, turkey. Put it all in the same bowl, warm it up a little bit, then get you some Duke's mayonnaise or Hellman's mayonnaise. Put that sucker in there, mix it up. And then again, a little cheese, leftover cheese.
That sounds disgusting.
Oh man,
you had me until mayo, man. You had me until mayo.
Oh man,
yeah. So when you said mayo into all that,
man, it's so good.
All right,
Christmas time with the Christmas ham.
Nope, you can throw the mayo out. You might just throw it out in the backyard and let it die.
No,
all right.
that was bad.
I'm a mac and cheese guy. I love mac and cheese, but
I thought about that one too.
But there's this particular stuffing that I have fallen in love with over the last couple of years.
Uh-oh.
My uncle makes it. It is White Castle's stuffing.
Huh.
He makes his stuffing with White Castle belly bombers. It is awesome.
What?
Yes, it is awesome.
Man, I need to send that.
And it helps all the rest of the food go down just nice and smooth.
So, out the other end too.
I was going to say the next
clear
day,
them out quickly.
The next day, that I'm sure that yeah.
But no, that's
okay.
That stuffing is tremendous.
Since you brought it up, I'll ask you this: what type of stuffing do you prefer? Do you prefer the cornbread type stuffing or the bread type stuffing?
Bread. bread.
Oh man, get out of here!
Says the
You
guy
guys
who likes
must not be from
mayo
the
in
South.
his.
You
Says the guy
must
who
not.
likes mayo
Must
in
be a
his mashed
Southern thing.
potatoes.
Must be a Southern thing.
I've never had it.
Really?
Oh,
Oh, man.
I've had both, and they're okay. I much prefer the bread stuffing.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever had the corn. No, I don't think I've ever had that.
do you do the? I can't do this. My family loves it. The gizzards. I
Nope.
can't do it. Oh, I
Can't
can't
do
do
gizzards.
it. I can't. I can't do
Marshmallows
the
on top of sweet potatoes.
only way I'm eating that.
Yeah.
I don't eat the sweet potatoes either, but my mom makes this thing with sweet potatoes and then like pecans. It's almost like pecan pie, but it's not really pecan pie. And
Sweet potato pie?
Oh, it's not a pie though. It's like a casserole and it's got pecans on the top. It is, dude, it is like it just melts in your mouth. It's just the best stuff ever. I can eat a whole plate of it.
Yeah. Oh man.
Man, you guys are making me really
you're
excited.
killing
Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday.
Yeah, I
by
love
far.
Thanksgiving.
I mean, I don't care about Christmas and all the presents. Bah humbug.
I was gonna say if anybody was a bah humbug, I could see Jarvis being a bah humbug.
Well, I am known as the guy here.
Well,
at,
okay. So
Jarvis'
we'll
house.
end this on this. Zach, do you guys put Christmas lights on your house?
Yes.
Are they up already?
If Mandy had her way, they would have been up probably a week ago.
Oh, that was.
It drives me nuts.
Jarvis.
If my wife had it her way, yes, but I do not. I'm not getting up on that roof. I'm not getting on a ladder. I'm not putting up gosh dang lights. It's basketball season.
Well, I'll put lights up, but I only put them up the Friday after Thanksgiving. So I won't do
when
it
the tree
until then.
goes up and all
And
that.
it was if we would have had a prenup when we got married, it would have been included in it. So
I should have got a prenup.
So in other words, you wouldn't have been married. That's what you're
no,
saying.
I probably wouldn't have been. No, but it was one of my non-negotiables. Marriage class went through the whole bit, and I'm like, no Christmas lights until after Thanksgiving. It's a non-negotiable for me.
Yeah, there's nothing here at Christmas until after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So
she did
well, they're playing it on the radio.
She did make me buy some stupid Christmas tree for the basement now, so we have 2 trees. Well, what the hell do we need 2 trees for?
In your man cave?
Yeah, she's gonna put one down. Oh, that's gonna be West.
You can hang a special type of whatever they're called.
Ornaments.
You can have special ornaments that can match your book covers behind you.
Beer cans with the tabs turned up. And then
I will have to say my cousin just popped on and said, I love that hat. This is a hat that I got from my cousin. Rise Up. It's Outdoor Solutions. He does concrete and retaining walls and all that stuff. So if you ever need anyone to do that, he just commented on the show. Corey Lee Lewis is your man. That's who you need to call. Rise Up. They'll take care of you.
There you go. I thought he was referencing.
Well, I will say that at least me and Kevin got some sports teams that matter.
Yeah.
From our state.
I only got a select wardrobe, so
same here for the show anyway.
Exactly, right?
So I've only got about 4 things left I can wear at this point after 20 years at the school. So, all right. Well, guys, this will be it for the evening. Anything else you need to add?
No, maybe the big timers will show up next week. Like, big timer on Channel 2 and then Hunter.
Well, I'm not pushing, but I've done my turn. I'm not pushing buttons for at least another 2 weeks. So
at least, those buttons you might push some other people's buttons.
Hey, I got time to screw this up.
Well, I'll send us out of here, man. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching the show. We had fun. I hope you did too, and hope to see you next week. Who knows what day? We'll figure it out.
episode of the Coach's Box Call It Like We See It podcast is brought to you by Off the Rails Media. Life's more fun when you're off the rails.